Now we are going to see the various inference rules for functional dependencies. These are the rules from which from a given set of FDs you can determine, you can infer certain new FDs and you can discover new functional dependencies from the existing ones. So before we directly begin, we need to see certain basic issues here. For example, given a relation R, A, B, C, D and an FD of the form AB gives CD. Now all of you know the meaning of AB gives CD. A and B are the attributes, C and D are the attributes. So here onwards you should see this FD, both the left hand side as well as right hand side, as a collection of attributes. So what I am doing here, AB I am writing down as a set of two attributes A comma B, and CD again I am writing down as a set of two attributes C comma D. However, every time instead of writing down the FD like this, we will be using this shortcut notation, that is AB gives CD. But remember very well, whenever we write down AB gives CD, here this is a set of two attributes, and on the right hand side also we are having a set of two attributes. And for whatever rules we are going to see, whenever you see an FD of the format X gives Y, you should treat X as well as Y as sets of attributes. Okay, they may be single attributes also, but more generally be general and think of both left hand side as well as right hand side as a set of attributes, not a single attribute. Okay, and now let's see the rules one by one. First of all, first rule is called as the reflexive rule. And what does this rule say? Whenever X, okay, whenever Y is a subset of X, then we can always say that X gives the value of Y. Or what we can say, if Y is a superset, sorry, if Y is a subset of X, then you can say X gives the value of Y. Or what does that mean? Whenever the right hand side is a subset of left hand side, the FD will always hold. For example, you can always say AB gives the value of A, you can always say AB gives the value of B, and you can always say AB gives the value of AB. Why so? Because A is a subset of AB, B is a subset of AB, and AB is also the subset of AB. So whenever, very simply what we can say, whenever you have got left hand side gives right hand side and right hand side is a subset of left hand side, then the FD will always hold. And there is one more angle to this FD. What is that? Every set of attributes will always determine itself. So when we say a set of attributes determine any of its subset, we can always say X determines X or X gives X, because X is a subset of X. So let us be very clear with this. Whenever you have got two sets such that one is the subset and another one is the superset, you can always write down superset gives subset. Okay, so let's see one more angle here. I will write down superset gives subset. Okay, whenever you have this format, superset gives subset, the FD will always hold, the FD will always be valid. And these are the applications. Whenever you have got AB on the left hand side, you can say AB gives AB, AB gives B, or AB gives A, because everywhere on the right hand side you are writing down a subset of the left hand side. Okay, now that is the first rule, reflexivity. Most important application of this rule will be any set of attributes X always determine itself. Every X gives X, A gives A, B gives B, AB gives AB, and so on. Okay, now let us see the second rule, which is called as the augmentation rule. Okay, it's called as inference rule 2 and its name is augmentation rule. Now the meaning, English language meaning of augmentation is expansion, to add something, to increase something. And what does this rule say? If you have been given an FD, say X gives Y, then you can always augment the left hand side as well as right hand side with the same attribute. Then you can say, number 1, X Z gives Y Z, or you can simply say X Z gives Y Z, but you cannot say that x, okay, you can say xz gives y, but you cannot say x gives y z. So this third conclusion is invalid, it is wrong. I will scratch it, but remember it very well. Whenever you get an FD like this, x gives the value of y, you can add same set of attributes to the both side. So whenever x gives the value of y, whenever you can determine y from the value of x, you can always determine yz from the value of xz, because this z on both the sides will be cancelled. Okay, from z you can determine the value of z, but from x you get the value of y, and that's why whenever x alone can give you the value of y, if you have z additional to the x, you will get the value of yz. So very simply this rule can be called as, you can augment the left hand side as well as right hand side from the same set of attributes, or you can augment only the left hand side without disturbing the FD, or when you augment only the left hand side, the FD will not be disturbed, the FD will still be a valid FD. However, please note very carefully that you cannot simply augment the right hand side. So whenever x gives y, you cannot say x gives yz. Here what we are doing, we are not augmenting the left hand side, we are only augmenting the right hand side. This is wrong. Here we are augmenting both the left hand side as well as right hand side with the same set of variables, same set of attributes, that is allowed, and here we are augmenting only the left hand side, that is also allowed. However, this third case of augmenting only the right hand side is not allowed. So this is called as augmentation rule. And let's see a more general format of augmentation rule. Say you have been given x gives y, and you augment the left hand side with w and you augment the right hand side with z. So x gives y is a given FD. Okay, there is an augmentation on the both the sides. Augmentation means simply we are adding a set of attributes. So here we added w on the left hand side, here we added z on the right hand side. Now again remember very well that w is not a single attribute, w can be a set of attributes. Similarly, z can also be a set of attributes. Now whatever we have done right now, we will call it as an augmentation. Okay, so whatever we have done is an augmentation. Okay, so the simple meaning of augmentation will be adding attributes to only left hand side, only right hand side, or both the sides. Adding attributes anywhere in the FD will be called as augmentation. However, this augmentation is valid if and only if z is a subset of w. Or what does that mean? The augmentation that you done on the right hand side must be a subset of the augmentation that you have done on the left hand side. That is the most general rule, and that's why what we can say here, let's see certain examples. For example, you have been given an FD, A gives B. Okay, now here you write down A, C, D gives BD, whether it's a valid augmentation or not. So on the left hand side we are augmenting with CD, on the right hand side we are augmenting with D. Now D is a subset of CD, therefore it's a valid augmentation. Let us see the reverse case. A, D gives B, C, D. Here right hand side has been augmented by CD and left hand side has been augmented by D, and CD is not a subset of D. That is why this particular augmentation is invalid. Okay, so remember very well, augmentation can be done on both the sides. However, the right hand side augmentation should be a subset of the left hand side augmentation. Okay, and there is one more angle to this. Okay, conceptual angle to this augmentation rule. What is that? When you have been given an FD which says x gives the value of y, what does that mean? From x you can get the value of y. Then from z you can always get the value of z. Okay, that is conceptual. X gives y is given, and every attribute will always determine itself. This is universal, and that is why what we can say that from z you can get the value of z. Now if you have been given the value of x as well as the value of z, what can be done? From x you can determine the value of y, and from z you can determine the value of z, and that's why xz gives the value of yz. Now this is one more angle to look at the rule of augmentation. Okay, so whenever an additional attribute is available that can be augmented on both the sides, rule is called as augmentation. Now the next rule, IR3, is called as transitive rule. Again quite important. Now what is the meaning of transitive rule? Always seen this. Suppose we know A less than B and B less than C, then by applying the rule of transitivity we can write down A less than C. So in a similar manner the transitive rule can be applied to the set of functional dependencies also, and let us see how this particular rule is applicable. Suppose you have been given, if x gives y and y gives z, then you can always infer that x gives the value of z, and x gives y gives z. This rule in general is called as transitive rule. Now in what case the transitive rule will be applicable? So the right hand side of one FD should be equal to the left hand side of another FD. On the basis of this common side you can combine this FD to get the transitive FD. Okay, so rule is quite simple and straightforward. X gives y gives z. You can conclude, you can infer that x gives the value of z, and again from x you can determine the value of y, and from y you can determine the value of z. So indirectly if I give you the value of x, you can uniquely come up with the value of z, but you won't directly come up with the value of z. In between, intermediately, we need to take the help of y, so that x will give us the value of y, unique value of y, and from that unique value of y you will get a unique value of z. So the effect is, from a given value of x you can uniquely determine some value of y, and that is why the transitive FDs will hold. Now the next rule is called as decomposition rule, IR4. And what is that rule? Whenever you have x gives y z, if x gives y z, then you can write down x gives y and x gives z. Okay, so from x gives y z you can write down x gives y and x gives z. Now let us see how this particular rule can be inferred from the first three rules. Okay, let us see. X gives yz is given. We will try to prove this rule using the first three rules, IR1, IR2, IR3. So let us say x gives yz is given to us. Okay, now what we can do, we can say yz gives y. Okay, now why we can say yz gives y? We are applying the reflexive rule, that is IR1, inference rule 1, and that rule is applicable because yz is a superset of y. Okay, left hand side is a superset of right hand side, and right hand side is a subset of left hand side. Similarly, you can also write down yz gives the value of z. Again we are applying inference rule 1, but the subset relationship is yz is the superset of z. Okay, so that's number 1, that's number 2, this is number 3, and now number 4, what you can do, x gives yz and yz gives y, therefore you can say that x gives y. Now this is what we are what is called as the transitive rule, x gives yz, yz gives y, therefore x gives y. So here we are applying transitive rule, which will be written as here IR3 and the basis were statement 1 and 2. So I can write it down here as from 1, 2 and IR3, and similarly x gives yz, yz gives z, therefore we can write down x gives z. Here again we can write down from 1, 3 and the transitive rule. So 1, 3, I R 3. Okay, this particular rule is called as decomposition rule, and remember very well, we are decomposing the right hand side, you cannot decompose the left hand side. So whenever you get multiple attributes on the right hand side, the right hand side can always be decomposed into single attributes. However, if you get multiple attributes on the left hand side, then you cannot decompose the left hand side. Let us see certain examples. Okay, I hope you are very clear with this proof. I will go through this once again. X gives yz is given, yz gives y, you can always write down because of the reflexive rule. Yz gives z, you can always write down again because of the reflexive rule. IR1, x gives yz, yz gives y, apply transitivity, you will get x gives y, and x gives yz, yz gives z, apply transitivity, you will get x gives z. And therefore, from 1, 2 and 3, we conclude 4 and 5, and that is why this particular IR inference rule is proved with the help of IR1 and the statements 1 and 2. Now, let us see certain examples here. If you have got A gives CD or AB gives CD, therefore you can always write down AB gives C as well as AB gives D, because we are decomposing the right hand side. However, you cannot write down A gives CD and B gives CD. You can also not write down A gives C or something like this, B gives D. All of them are incorrect. Here we are decomposing the left hand side, again left hand side is decomposed, again left hand side is decomposed, again left hand side is decomposed. You cannot do decomposition on the left hand side. Decomposition is valid only if it is done on the right hand side. Right hand side of an FD can be decomposed, left hand side of an FD can never be decomposed. Okay, so the rule is called as decomposition. Now, opposite is what is called as the union rule. It is IR5. Union rule. And what is the meaning of union rule? If x gives y and x gives z, then you can infer that x gives y z. In simple terms, what we can say, whenever the left hand side of two FDs are same, then you can take the common left hand side and you can take the union of right hand side. So here both the left hand side are equal to x, so we will write down x on the left hand side and the union of y and z will be yz, and that's why this particular rule will be called as union rule. Again, let us try to look at a simple proof of this union rule. Suppose we will start with the given statements. Okay, so number 1, x gives y, this is given. Then second, x gives z is also given, and we need to prove x gives yz. So how this proof can be done? Let us see. We will augment FD1 with x. So we can write down xx give xy. Okay, we are doing augmentation, and augmentation rule will be called as IR2, augmentation with x. So augmentation with x, I will write it down like this, and xx gives xy can also be written as x gives xy. Twice x is equal to x as far as FD is concerned. If I give x once or twice or thrice, that doesn't make any difference. It is the same piece of information. Okay. Now fourth, here we will augment with y on both the sides. So we will write down. Okay. Here we are not mentioned the FD that we augmented. Here we are augmenting 1. So 1 IR2 augmentation with x. Now in 4, what we will do? We will take the second statement. We will apply the augmentation rule and we will augment with y. Okay. So what is the second statement? It is x gives z, augment with y, it will be xy gives yz. Okay, and now from 3 4 x gives xy, xy gives yz, you can write down x gives yz. So the conclusion will be x gives yz, and we are using 3 4 and transitivity rule. So 3 4, and what is transitivity? Where is the transitivity? X gives yz and sorry, x gives xy, xy gives yz, therefore x gives yz. So because xy are common, you can apply the transitivity rule and you can say x gives yz. So 3 4 and I are 3. Using these things we can prove that union rule is a valid one. X gives y, x gives z can always be replaced with x gives yz. And finally the last rule that we need to see is IR6, which is called as pseudo transitive rule. Okay, and let us see what this rule is. If x gives y and wy gives z, then you can conclude that wx gives z. And what will be the proof here? We will write down the given statements. So first statement is x gives y, that is given. Second statement is wy gives z, again this is given. Now third thing what we will do, we will take this statement 1, we will apply the augmentation rule IR2 and we will do the augmentation with w. Okay, so let's take this statement x give y and do augmentation with w. So it will be wx gives wy, and now from these two statements wx gives wy gives z, we can write down wx gives the value of z. So from 2 3 and the transitivity rule, that is IR3, we can conclude that whenever x gives y and wy gives z, you can say wx will give the value of z. And it is quite simple. Here also we can do it directly. You augment with w, wx will give wy and wy gives wz, and therefore wx will give the value of z. It is called as pseudo transitive rule. Okay, so these are the 6 rules of inferences. You need to remember them very well. I will summarize them once. Okay, first one was IR1, it's called as reflexivity, and what the rule is, if x is a superset of y, then you can say x gives y. Okay, or this rule can also be written as any superset functionally determines a subset always. Okay, second rule was augmentation, and what that rule is, if, okay, I will write it down in some other format now. Given the fact that x gives the value of y, you can infer from this FD that wx gives wy. You are augmenting both the sides with w, both the sides can be augmented, only right hand side can be augmented, but you cannot augment only left hand side. Augmentation of left hand side is invalid. Or if you are applying augmentation on both the sides, then like this, if you write down wz gives, say wx gives yz, so you are augmenting left hand side with w and right hand side with z, then what was the rule that we saw? That w must be a superset of z. That is, the augmentation on left hand side must be a superset of the augmentation that you do on the right hand side. Okay, you cannot add newer attributes to the right hand side. You cannot add new attributes to the right hand side. Then IR3, it is called as transitive rule. And what is that rule? From x give y and y give z, from the set of these two FDs, it's a set notation, set of two FDs, you can infer that x gives the value of z. This is the meaning of inference. How to read is x gives y and y gives z infers x gives z, or x gives z can be inferred from x gives y and y gives z. Then fourth rule will be decomposition. And what is that rule? From x give y z, you can infer two FDs. One will be x give y and another will be y give z. Its opposite will be the union rule. It says if x gives y and x gives z, then from these two FDs, x gives y and x gives z, you can infer that x gives y z. And the final rule that you need to remember will be IR6, which is called as pseudo transitive rule. Okay, and what is that? If x gives y and wy gives z, then you can infer wx give the value of z. Okay, so you need to remember all these rules very well, and apart in this all these 6 rules, these 3 rules IR1, IR2 and IR3 are basic rules, and these rules are called as Armstrong's inferences because they were first given by Armstrong. So they are called as Armstrong's inferences. Okay, IR1, IR2 and IR3 are called as Armstrong inferences, and why they are basic, we have already seen that IR4, IR5 and IR6 can be proved using IR1, IR2 and IR3. So you need to remember all these rules very well. Again I will summarize. Reflexivity means every superset will determine, gives the value of subset. You can do augmentation on both the sides. However, augmentation on the left hand side should be a superset of augmentation of the right hand side. You cannot add new attributes on the right hand side alone. X gives y, y gives z, therefore x gives z. Decomposition, x gives y z, it means x gives the value of y and x gives the value of z. So you can write it down as x gives the value of y and and x gives the value of z. Here it should be x. Similarly, its opposite will be union rule, x gives y, x gives z, therefore x gives y z, and then the pseudo transitivity rule. Okay. Now we have seen that decomposition is allowed only on the left hand side. Similarly, union is allowed only when the left hand side is common. For example, if you take union like this, say A gives B and C gives D, therefore you write down AC gives BD. Okay. Suppose you have got X gives, okay, let us see, it is applicable to the decomposition rule. AB gives the value of C cannot be decomposed as A gives the value of C and B gives the value of C. It is invalid decomposition, you should not try this. However, let me check whether we can apply union in other cases or not. Say A gives the value of B and C gives the value of D, and let us suppose you can have AC, then you will always get the value of BD. Okay, you can take the union like this also. Whenever you have different left hand side, gives B and C gives D, then you can always go ahead and say AC gives the value of BD. Okay, fine. So that's all about the various inference rules. In the next session, we will solve certain gate questions which are directly based upon the inference rules. Thank you.